Hey friends, Jill here and welcome back to the farm. Today we're going to be in the kitchen for a little bit. We're also going to be outside in the dahlias, which is so nice because I have not got to spend near as much time out there as I would have liked. But I have been trying to do better about meal prepping. And part of that is meal prepping and knowing what sourdough needs to go with each of the meals for the week. So I do a lot of from scratch baking, but I'm really wanting to just be more diligent about from scratch cooking. And I feel like a lot of mine and Nathan's mornings are spent around the table asking ourselves, what are we going to cook for dinner tonight? So this weekend I sat down with a pen and notebook, got into a whole bunch of digital ebooks, and just mapped out what we were going to be eating for the week. And that really helped me be prepared to know what sourdough I needed to pair with those. And that's what I'm doing here. I usually start my mornings making sourdough, pairing it with different things for the week. And so I'm excited to share with you guys later in the kitchen as we are cooking. So what I'm going to be making today, or prepping today I should say, is a sweet potato chili. So we're actually doing half ground pork because we always have an excess of pork, and then we're doing some deer that we have as well. So it's going to be so delicious. So I got the sourdough started, but now we're going to head out before it gets warm, and we are going to harvest some beautiful dahlias. You guys, they are loving the dip in weather that we are having here in Arkansas, and it was just so nice to spend a few minutes out there. I mean, check out how beautiful these dahlias are. Look how beautiful.
Yeah.
I have not been present in the dahlia patch a whole lot, but with the shifting of the weather, which it feels fantastic.
Yeah, it's probably 65-ish.
It's so nice. I cannot, y'all see that? So like almost.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
Side of your face. So we just got back from the Ozark Homesteading Expo in Missouri. And the last day we were there, we woke up and the weather was 49 degrees. 59 degrees. So I was a little worried we were going to come back home to hot Arkansas, and I then got acclimated to
acclimated.
Well, I got a little tease. I got a little tease of the fall weather. It was so nice. I could wear Ziggy and I wasn't like sweating profusely. But Arkansas did us right.
Yeah.
Because it feels so great. It's supposed to be a mild week. So I'm hoping in between meal prepping this week, which is a lot of what you're seeing in this video, we can get out here, harvest some dahlias, do some tunnel maintenance.
We were only 3.5 hours north of us.
Yeah.
In Marshfield, so it wasn't that far.
Yeah. It was so fun too. We're going to chat with you guys about that in a second.
Yeah, very fun event.
It was. It was so sweet. And, you know, if you were wondering how Ziggy did, he was in the same position he's always. We debated if I was just going to strap him on for my presentation, but Daddy took over for the hour and he did great, huh?
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah. All right, let's harvest some flowers, head to the tunnel. We're going to grab some tomatoes. I'm making sweet potato chili, actually to have for dinner tomorrow night, but if you ever made chili,
you know it's better the next day.
It's better the next day. So we're having pork chops, rice, and veggies tonight. We're going to have sweet potato chili tomorrow. So I'm going to make, it called for diced tomatoes. And I don't want to use my canned diced tomatoes, so we're just going to dice around. We're just going to make our own little diced tomato thing. So
let's do it.
Let's harvest a quick arrangement because, well, it's beautiful.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
And then we'll head to the tunnel and grab some stuff so we can start prepping our chili for tomorrow. I have recruited Nathan to harvest some tomatoes because
And Trellis feet.
I don't know if you guys can see, but I definitely wore the wrong shoes out here. So our walkways are like really saturated. Don't want to ruin my shoes.
Show them those new shoes.
We're gonna harvest some of these. Will you grab me a couple Carmen peppers? I'd like to put those peppers in my
Chili?
in the chili too. But also I think tomorrow we're gonna be coming out here doing another big harvest of tomatoes, cucumbers, and then we are our tomatoes and peppers. We just put our second round of cukes in. And then we will be, ready or not, we're tearing the jungle down. Doing great, babe. Good luck finding room in that basket.
I know. How many tomatoes you want?
I think it called for 1 can of tomatoes. So, whatever you think.
What?
Whatever you think, a shirt full.
A shirt full?
Yeah, a shirt full is probably fine. I'm going to come harvest this basil up here real quick because I need to get these in water, and then I'll meet you inside. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. I mean, I still just cannot. Oh, the beauty. All right, let's make an arrangement. Do you hear me, the dahlias?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna make a quick little arrangement, and then I'm gonna finish prepping dinner. But we wanted to chat with you guys about the festival we just went to, the conference.
The Ozark Homesteading Expo.
That's right.
It was phenomenal. For
It
our
was-
first time going.
There were so many people there. I mean, I was just like so impressed at how many people were there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was super fun. We got to meet so many fantastic people.
Yes, we did.
It's always so like, there were a couple people that were like, are you crazy? You just had a baby. What are you doing here? But Ziggy was so chill. I mean, he just, practically strap him on and he's good to go, So I wasn't too concerned about how he was going to act.
Yeah, he did. He did really good. Even
Yeah.
the times that he wasn't strapped on Mama, which was very seldomly, he
Laid in the grass.
laid in the grass on a blanket,
Yeah.
and yeah, he was
He did
a
really
good baby.
He was. He did so good. But we got asked, I feel like, I don't know, we always like to kind of do these recap videos. They're always fun, in my opinion. I hope you guys find them fun. And it's just like sharing, really, like what was that one thing that stood out to us throughout the conference? And there were a couple things, if I'm being honest. I feel like for me, there were a few things I noticed. And one I noticed, and I don't know, I mean, I travel a lot for these things all around the States. One of the things that I noticed was that the people in Missouri were ready to play, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times when we go to these, people are interested in the idea of homesteading and being more self-sufficient, but that's really like what it is. It's an interest, and it doesn't really go, I don't want to say it doesn't go beyond that, but it's more so just like, oh, this is a fun thing we could do on the weekend, right? It's not like they're there to learn life skills that they want to immediately put into practice. They're going there to soak up all the knowledge they can to immediately go home
and implement that.
And start implementing that. And I thought that was really encouraging to me, because a lot of times, you know, those of us that are doing this, like, we have you guys as community, which we love, but it's our family. You know, this is what we do day in and day out. And so I feel like sometimes we can overlook the amount of people that want to join in this lifestyle. Would you agree with that?
I agree. Yeah, that's a very true statement.
So I just thought it was really encouraging to see all the people who were like, hey, what is that one piece of advice you would give me if I wanted to start today? Because I want to start today. I want to go home. I want to start implementing these things. If you could go back and tell your younger self when you got started in homesteading one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Yeah.
And that was really fun for me.
And a lot of people, you know, were 1 year into their journey, and so they wanted to hear what year 8 or 9 looked like in our journey, you know. And so, you know, everyone has different opinions on this, which, you know, is great. That's the beauty of living in this country, is we all get our opinions. But some practical advice that we like to give may be different than someone else, you know. And so I was encouraged, because there were so many people that were truly fascinated. They asked those deep questions, not just surface level questions, but those good deep questions. So
well, and that's why I was talking to Cheryl, the lady who put it on, and she said one of the things she's noticed is that the people that come, they're ready to start implementing these things in their lives. They're ready to take that step to being self-sufficient. They are really curious and want to know, like, how do I harvest my own animals? How do I make money from my homestead? How do I, you know, maximize my small space, which is what I was talking about. I got the joy of talking about maximizing your small garden space. But there were so many people there talking about herbalism, talking about raising animals, talking about
all kind of animal husbandry.
All sorts of stuff. So what was the main piece of advice you gave people this weekend, Nate?
Oh, goodness. Depends on the question, but overall, people were asking a lot of the same questions. And, you know, my response was always just start, first of all, you know, make small steps and just start, but invest in your knowledge. Oh my gosh. That's something that Jill and I, for the last 10 years, have really invested in. You know, we dove in head first, which a lot of people do.
Me? No way.
Yeah, a lot of people do, and we had to learn the hard way. You know, we've had to back up and punt. We've had to take a pause and redirect, and so we do give that advice a lot: is don't just dive in head first. You know. Start with one thing and master that, do that well, and then add something else. But just investing in your knowledge. I mean, I can't tell you how many, thousands of dollars in courses and books and just resources that we've invested in. And thank goodness, you know.
You know what I wish I would have known? Like,
how right your husband is most of the time. When we have these dream sessions and we're talking about doing this, about how right I am most of the time.
So what I wish I would have known, you notice how I just bypassed that, y'all. That's the key to a happy marriage.
Just ignore your husband.
No, what I wish I would have known, I was thinking back to, when I had Charlie, that's when it wasn't about me anymore, right? When you have a child, you realize there is such a responsibility to know better and do better for them. So things that I overlooked or didn't really care about. I was not a healthy person. My health was not a priority. And that wasn't a big deal when it was just me. But then when I had a human being whose life depended on me, that became a massive priority. And so I went head first. People asked us, I got asked that question all weekend. It was, when did you get started? What made you transition into this, homesteading, sustainable life? And it was Charlie, 1000%. I just became so aware and awakened to be more self-sufficient, to do better. But I think where I went wrong, and what I wish I would have known, is I literally threw out all of our cleaning products and I made everything from scratch. I made all of my own makeup. I made all of my own deodorant. We started canning. I was making all of our own herbal medicines. We ditched the dryer. I was hanging out cloth diapers and our clothes out on the line. I had a big garden that we tilled, and then I had a small little garden that Nathan built in the backyard of the house that we lived in. And I did all of the things without really having any sort of good grip on the knowledge and the skill required to have all those things and do all those things. And while they were great, growing our own food, obviously, it's a no-brainer. Preserving it, of course. Hanging clothes out to the line to dry, that's great if that's what you're into. Making our own medicine, like, these things were good things. But what happened is I got really overwhelmed. And then at some point I realized, wow, when I needed to troubleshoot on chicken care, and we had bought chickens without really knowing anything, and I needed to troubleshoot on all these different things, I really didn't have a good base knowledge to begin with. And that's why I think Nathan and I spend so much time encouraging people, invest in your knowledge before you dive in. I wrote the book, The Tiny But Mighty Farm, for the purpose of encouraging people. You can start small and stay small. You can hone in, and that can still be valuable. You're still doing your part. You're still making a massive difference inside your four walls, which is where it matters the most. Don't feel like you have to do it all. Learn a skill, research a skill, and then dive into the skill. And that's something I don't think enough people talk about. They say, go all in, do these things. You need a dairy animal. You need to do these things. And they are great things. But that doesn't mean you have to jump all in without having the proper skills and knowledge to prepare you for if something goes wrong. I know we kind of did this when we got goats. I was so excited to have goats, but had I looked back, I would have done more research. That way when they got sick, I knew immediately what to do. And I could have seen those signs earlier instead of being to a point where, oh man, something's wrong, and now I'm trying to beef up my knowledge in all of these areas.
Yeah,
you kind of are scrambling. And so one of the skills Nathan and I were talking about we want to learn how to sew, because I cannot tell you how many times, and so we were talking about that this weekend on the way home. We're like, what skill do we want to learn? Because I feel like we're kind of in a slower pace of life right now where we can take on another skill. I think so. And so one of the skills I want to learn is how to sew. And Nathan also really wants to learn how to sew. So that's something that we're going to dive into.
That's right. If you don't learn, I'm going to learn. I can't tell you how many pairs of shirts, good shorts that I've thrown away because it's missing one stinking button, and neither one of us know how to sew.
So I'm not just preaching to the choir here. I'm taking the advice myself. I'm learning new skills. Always investing in my knowledge. That's one thing. You might regret making a purchase that you weren't ready for. You might regret jumping into something, before you really needed to. But I promise you, you will never regret investing in yourself and your knowledge, because that can be passed down through the generations.
Right.
And it's not just something that's going to benefit you. It's going to benefit your whole family. And you're just going to be so glad that you did it. And so I wanted to talk about that because I had the opportunity to participate in something really cool. I have passed up this opportunity in the past because it just didn't feel right in the season I was in, but it feels so right now. And I participated in something called the Homestead Bundle. And essentially it's where over 100 of us homesteaders who have been homesteading on different scales, whether we're doing it full-time, whether we're doing it part-time, whatever that might look like. And we donated our resources because we believe that everyone should be equipped with the knowledge to learn something, to learn a skill. And so what it is it is a downloadable bundle of over 100 ebooks and courses. And you guys, these just aren't any ebooks and courses. You get Charles Dowding's ebooks and courses, which Nathan and I have been diving into.
You get Jill Reagan's
You get mine and Kaylee's. We donated the Herbal First Aid, but they have it broken up pretty beautifully, in fact, where it is like homesteading, gardening, kitchen, herbs and wellness, wild foraging, preparedness, livestock. What were some of the other ones? There was a bunch.
Homeschooling, maybe?
There was some on like wild bushcraft. So there are so many incredible experts and teachers who have donated their resources. And for me, it was in the hopes to equip you guys with the knowledge to be able to say yes to something. Even if you're not in the season where you're going all in, which Nathan and I recommend you don't do that. You can be in the season where you're learning. You're always in the season to learn. You can always make time and prioritize that. And so what it is, so you have 10 days to be able to purchase the bundle. It's downloadable. You have access to it. And anytime you can print off the ebooks at a later time. And it is like a $5,000 value.
Yeah. Because
there's so many resources from so many of us. And for this 10 days only, which started today, so it started today the 9th, it ends on the 19th, it's $50. So I really encourage you guys to check out the link in my description and go look. Look and see if there's one of these skills you want to learn. If you donated a resource, you got access to kind of preview the bundle. And so for weeks now, Nathan and I have been going through, we have been looking at these resources. We have been diving into these resources. And I don't know, I think when I think about what is community, how cool that over 100 of us from so many different parts of the world said, you know what, we're gonna donate our resources, we're gonna collaborate, we're gonna spend the next 10 days rallying, championing around this, bringing awareness, in hopes to encourage one of you guys to say yes to living a more sustainable life, to say yes to learning a skill that's going to bring you one step closer to your dream, whether that's coming home full time, whether that's growing a garden, maybe that's building your own home apothecary and just taking care of your family's wellness in a holistic way, whether that's raising animals, whatever it is. Yeah. I promise you, you'll find a resource in this bundle that will equip you with the knowledge that you need. And I don't know, I've been a part of a lot of collaborations. We're very diligent on the ones we say yes to. And this is when I told Nathan, I was like, I just feel so proud to be a part of this movement, because there's a lot of movements happening in the world right now. There's a lot of voices speaking a lot of opinions. But one thing we know is that God has called us to the home. He's equipped us with everything we need from the earth to be able to nourish the people within that home. And the only voice I really want to listen to is the one from him. And so I encourage you guys to dive into some of these resources. Again, the link's going to be down below. I don't know if you want to add anything, but that was one thing. Yeah, this weekend, it was, where did you get started? I feel really overwhelmed. And we kept telling people again and again and again all weekend, 1, prioritize God. Nurture the people in your family, and take any extra time you have and invest in your knowledge. And I promise you, you'll never regret that decision.
Knowledge is something no one can take away.
Oh, yeah.
And so investing in any type of knowledge, any type of skill is a worthwhile investment. And so, you know, what I found, just to piggyback on that just a tad bit, is like $50. I know how much money you and I have spent in the last 9 years.
That's true.
On just ebooks and courses and books and just all of these things. Even if you find 2 ebooks or 2 resources in this, $50, that's well worth it.
Oh, I know.
Well worth it.
We've downloaded a ton. In fact, this week I'm going to be cooking a ton from a lot of the from scratch cookbooks in there. Yeah. Nathan found a lot he's been diving into. I've been taking Charles Dowding's course that he put in there, because who doesn't want a chance to learn from Charles Dowding? Nathan's like, do you need to know these things? I'm like, not really, but when else am I going to get the opportunity to dive into having him as my teacher?
There's a lot on health and nutrition. I started diving into that bison farm.
There's a lot of really cool stuff.
You know, we have experience with eating bison, love bison, but that is so geared around just nutrition, you know, and so that's something we're passionate about as well.
Yeah. So it'll be available for the next 10 days. The link will be down in my description. Go check it out. It's just going to show you everything that's in it to see if there's something that sparks your interest. if you want to gift this to someone, it's a great gift. I know I've gotten it for a few of my friends that I thought they would really enjoy this. So just wanted to share that with you guys.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all, I'm feeling like pretty skilled in the fact that I talked and made an arrangement. What do we think? Look at that.
You're getting so good at this multitasking.
All right, back in the kitchen we go. One of the things I love about chili is just all the different seasonings and spices you can add to it. As long as you have those base ingredients, meat, tomatoes, some sort of stock, beans if you like that, corn if you like that. There's just simple pantry staples, and then you can add upon that. So I love soups and stews and chilies. I actually cook a lot of these in the fall and winter time because it's just kind of my favorite, where you can just dump a bunch of stuff in the Dutch oven or a crock pot and just build upon it with flavors. So I am taking a little break nursing Ziggy. He's got a little cold right now after being out in the elements all weekend. So Nathan's coming to help me finish prepping. It's one of the things I love so much about having him home. Instead of tasks falling on him or falling on me, we really do act as a team, and I'm so grateful for that. So I'm just making up some stuff here, some sauces, adding a bunch of different seasoning and oils to it. We're just gonna dump it all in the crock pot. It's super easy. These are my favorite meals because they really don't take a lot of prep work, especially when you have a teammate helping you like I do. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this vlog as we have hung out in the kitchen, did a little bit of harvesting, and just shared our little weekend recap from the Ozark Homesteading Expo. All right, friends, we are wrapping up today's vlog so that I can finish doing all the things in the kitchen. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. I always knew how blessed I was. Always knew how fortunate Nathan and I were to be able to live our life every day with our family at home, doing what we love to do, what we feel like we've been called to do. But being gone this weekend, and you realize how many people are striving for that life. You realize how many people are still praying and prayerfully seeking God for that moment to happen for them. And it's just such a joy and such a privilege to be able to share our lives with you guys. It never gets old. It never gets old. And I'm always reminded, I feel like God always finds ways to remind me of how fortunate and how blessed we are. So thank you guys so much for following our journey, for supporting us, for loving us. It just makes what we do so much fun to be able to build community with each and every one of you guys. So thanks for hanging out with me and Nathan today. Don't forget, if you want to look into the Homestead bundle, the link is down in the description. But thanks for hanging out. We'll talk to you soon. See you.